What's up everybody, Jack of Many Trades here, back again with another video, and today I'm going to be doing a response video to some of the questions that I've been getting in the comments section on my Nreal Air review video. So I want to thank you guys for engaging so much in the comments section. I really do appreciate it. I read all the comments, so if you have any more, please do feel free to leave me a comment in the comments section down below. I look at everything and will get back to you as soon as I can. But without further ado, let's get into the rest of the video. Alright, so one of the main questions that I've been getting on my Nreal Air video is, why would I buy this, which is just an augmented reality experience, versus something like the Meta Quest 2 or the Valve Index, although the Valve Index is substantially more expensive than this. But why would I get a AR product versus a VR product? And the answer to that is pretty simple, actually. If you are looking at a VR product, you're looking for something that is 100% immersive all of the time. You really don't have the option to see through very well. And even though the VR headsets do have cameras so that way you can see where you are in the real world, unfortunately, with a VR headset, you can't actually have both your content and the real world at the same time. So that's one benefit that this has over VR headsets. The other one is perhaps a little bit less intuitive, but what is nice about this is that you can use this with anything that you see here on the table right now. You can also use this with an iPhone, but you need to have the Nreal Air adapter, which I'll throw the link to in the description below. But that will basically convert the USB-C DisplayPort to HDMI, and then you would just use an HDMI to Lightning cable to connect your iPhone to this. But straight out of the box, you can use the Nreal Air with an iPad Pro that has USB-C, or really any iPad that has USB-C. You can also use it with a MacBook or any computer that has USB-C. I can show it on a Windows computer as well. And you can also use it, of course, with the Steam Deck, which was the primary focus of my previous video. Alright, so another one of the main questions that I had been getting on my Nreal Air review video is that I mentioned that this device can be used for productivity purposes. The example that I gave was, say you're in an airport and you're waiting for your flight to come in, you want to get some work done, but you work on projects that you don't want other people looking over your shoulder and seeing what you're doing. The Nreal Air is a really good product for that because it sits right on your face, and people really will have a hard time seeing what you're doing. It's not entirely impossible for people to see what you're doing, but it would take a lot more effort and it would be more noticeable to you if they were. So I'll be showing you guys right now what it's like to do work using the Nreal Airs. For this video, I will be doing both a Mac and a Windows comparison because there may be differences between the two, so I want to make sure that I cover both operating systems for you. Alright, so here we are with my MacBook open and the Nreal Air connected via the USB-C cable that comes with it. What I wanted to go and show you guys first before anything else, I didn't really get a question on this, but it's something that may come up. I wear corrective lenses, but I haven't yet put the adapter for prescription lenses on because I haven't gotten them made yet. So if you are in a similar situation, what you can do is put a piece of tape or really anything over this sensor here, and that will basically trick the device into thinking that it's on your head all of the time, and so that'll keep the two displays on. The reason why you would want to do this is because if you put the Nreal Airs over your glasses, the device will sit a little bit too far away from your head, and as a result, you are going to have where the displays will turn on and off intermittently, and so that'll get really distracting. So that's a pro tip for you guys. If you do wear corrective lenses and you don't yet have the adapter made, be sure to put a piece of tape over this right here, and that will solve your problem. Alright, so here we are on the desktop of my MacBook, and I have just connected the Nreal Air's display to that. So as you can see here, we have the built-in display and then we have the Nreal Airs. Alright, so if you choose to use both the Nreal Air display and the MacBook display at the same time, you will end up with a bit of a strange experience, because what you're going to end up seeing is your MacBook display behind your Nreal Air display, and this is kind of what it's going to look like. So if you're moving your head around, the Nreal Air display will move with you, the MacBook one obviously will not. But if you have actual content on the Nreal Air display, you're gonna end up with a bit of a weird experience, because it will be actually fairly difficult to see the MacBook display, especially if you are using the Nreal Air at full brightness or a high brightness level. The screen can get pretty opaque for you. So I just wanted to show that in case you guys were wondering if you could use this as a portable dual monitor setup. I think probably the best way to do a dual monitor setup with a MacBook is to just use Sidecar if you have an iPad Pro or really any iPad that's modern. If you did want to use this, you could. It's just that you'd probably want to look up above the MacBook like this, so that way you have the Nreal Air display above it, and then you have the MacBook display below it, and then you can kind of glance between the two. Alright, so the Nreal Air works as basically any other display out there. So if you click here, you can choose to arrange your displays however you like. So the way that I have it is sort of how it would be in reality, which is my MacBook Pro's built-in display is right down here. And then above we have the Nreal Air display, and so that's how I have mine set up. If you want to choose to set yours up differently, feel free to do so. The main thing that I would say about using the MacBook for work, if you're trying to keep things private, is you can't really turn off the main display unless you close the lid. So if you're traveling, you're probably not going to be carrying your Bluetooth mouse and trackpad or your Bluetooth keyboard with you. So, that's kind of not really a viable option. Also, the MacBook will turn off if it's not connected to power when you close the lid. So, a couple of things to think about. If you did want to fully black out your MacBook screen while keeping it on and using all of the built-in features like the keyboard and the trackpad, what you can do is come over here to the keyboard and then just push the brightness button until it turns completely off. So as you can see, there's nothing on the display right now. And once you have that done, you can basically just drag your windows from your MacBook onto your Nreal Air display and work on files there. Alright, so here's what the Nreal Air can look like if you want to have full brightness, and you can see the Nreal Air does a pretty good job of overlaying this image over top of the MacBook, even with max brightness on the MacBook. But again, as I had mentioned before, you're probably interested in the option of keeping your MacBook display off and getting some work done. So this is what that's going to look like. So right now we have Excel open. As you can see, here is my cursor. So you can obviously use this just as any other Excel sheet. Down at the bottom, you have your different sheets. You can roll through these, see what's on them. Not really much to discuss. If you've used Excel, it's the same experience that you would get on your computer. Moving on to something like Word, say that you wanted to write some documents up, review some things. You didn't really want nosy people in the airport looking over your shoulder, seeing what you're working on. This is really a perfect option for that. The only thing that I will say is that it can be the case that your Nreal Airs, especially if you wear corrective lenses, behind the Nreal Air, it pushes the display further from your eyes than normal. So it can be a little bit difficult to read things. So again, I would recommend getting the prescription lenses made, but I just haven't been able to get out to have that done yet. But if that's the case for you and you do have a little bit of difficulty seeing things, there's a couple of things that you can do. Number one, if you really just care about seeing your content, you don't care so much about all of the editing menus because there's a lot of keyboard shortcuts. Just zoom in your page a little bit more. On 300% zoom, you can clearly see everything nice and easy. So that's one option for you. The next option, you could also change your display scaling settings. So if we take it back here to the MacBook display, you can change the scaling to something a little bit lower. So right now it's scaled to 1920 1080. That's the default full resolution of the Nreal Air, but you could put it down to say 720p. So as you can see here, I put it down to 720p scaling, and now all of the icons up here are quite a bit bigger, so you can read these a lot easier than you could before. So if, like I said, if you do have issues seeing these things, you can always change the scaling option on your Mac for the Nreal Air display, and that'll fix your problem. All right, so for our Windows computer today, we're going to be using this 2021 15-inch Razer Blade Advanced. Just so you guys know, this is a D-brand skin on top. This was from the DIY kit that they put out a couple of months ago. So I did do this myself, just in case you guys were wondering about that. All right, so opening it up, we have our desktop here, and we have the Nreal Air connected, again, via the USB-C port over there. Now, I don't typically do a lot of work on my Windows computer. I use this basically only for gaming. So one thing that's really nice about Windows versus Mac is that it's really easy to only show one of the displays at a time. So on the Windows computer, as you can see, we can choose to show only on display 1 or only on display 2. Since Nreal Air is display 2, we'll select 2. And as you can see, our main display has shut off. But if we look in here, you have your display showing. And now you can see that your Windows computer is only showing on the Nreal Air and not on the actual built-in display. So this is going to be perfect if you want a little bit of privacy with your work. Again, same things apply with this computer versus the MacBook. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to see things, so if that is the case, you can always go into your Windows settings and choose to change your display scaling, and that'll probably give you a better experience overall. All right, so we're continuing here on the Windows PC. I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what the experience is like, how big that you can expect the display to look. Again, it's a little bit difficult to kind of show this on camera, but if you're sitting at a pretty normal distance away from your computer monitor, the Nreal Air will actually look about, I'd say, like 20-30% bigger than your main display. So if your main display goes from here to up here, the Nreal Air will be about out to here. So it is quite a bit bigger of a screen than your built-in monitor. It's not going to be enormous, but it will be a bit bigger, you know, so that's kind of a bit of perspective on what it actually looks like when you have them on your face. because looking at it through a video won't really do it justice. The other thing that I wanted to bring your guys' attention to is if we are using something like Word, let's say, it's not like anything is, particularly sensitive on this screen, of course. But just to show you guys potentially how people could still see what you're doing, this is what the Nreal Air looks like if you have the display on max brightness and you don't have the privacy shield on. So this will allow you to, like I said, see straight through the glasses and to the world around you. From a distance, I don't think people are going to be really, able to see what you're doing. Just that you have a couple of screens in front of your eyes. That's about it. If you look really, really close, you can maybe pick out some details with your eye. The camera won't really focus this close, so it can't really show you that too much. But just so that you are aware, if you are using these out in the public and you have the displays on max brightness, you are going to be able to see the two displays on the left and right eyes from the outside. So if that bothers you, like I said, you can use the included privacy shield, and this will, number one, black out your view so that way you get perfect black levels, since again these are OLED projectors, so you'll be getting really good black levels, really good contrast, and like I said, with the privacy shield nobody will be able to see what you're doing at all, even if they're looking directly at you. Alright, so the final thing that I wanted to go over is how I use this when I'm using my iPad Pro. So I do a lot of FaceTime calls and SharePlay with Apple's Apple TV app. As you can see, I have quite a few movies here. And, so one of the main things that you would want to do is, especially if you're traveling and you don't have access to your Apple TV or a TV in general, you don't necessarily want to watch a movie on a 12.9-inch display. You want something a little bit bigger. So that's where the Nreal Air can come in. Like I said in my previous video, if you are watching a movie on these, it will basically look like a 70 to 80-inch TV at right around 5.5 to 6 feet away. So it is a really nice display. It's an immersive display. But like I said, since this is AR and not VR, you do actually have the option to see through the glasses to see the environment around you, or you could use, like I said, the privacy shield, which is what I use most of the time, because you just get those pure black levels that you would expect from an OLED panel. So taking a look at what we see on the iPad, one of the first things that people had asked questions about is if you have AirPods or something like that and you want to watch a movie, how do you do that? It works the same way as you are used to with a regular iPad. So what you want to do is you can click on this Now Playing box, push on the icon here, and here you have the option to choose the Nreal Airs or AirPods Pro in my case, or any of the other speakers that you have around you. You can just pull up a movie really quick. Not really going to show anything too much because of copyright issues, but as you can see here, we have the movie playing, and again, if you were using it in augmented reality mode without the shield, this is what it's going to look like. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this video of me answering some questions on the Nreal Airs. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of this. I tried to go into as much depth as possible on some of the different use cases beyond just what it's made for, which is augmented reality with your Android phone. Alright, so I wanted to make an update since my last video. The Nreal Airs have actually gone on sale in the United States, so you don't have to work with international buyers anymore. You can simply go on Amazon and put these in your shopping cart. These retail for $379, so I will leave a link for them in the description below. Additionally, you have the option to buy the Nreal adapter, which is going to be basically a little brick. It has USB-C in and then HDMI output. It also comes with another adapter, so it'll be a HDMI female to HDMI female. So if you are using something like the Steam Deck, this would be a way that you could get to use these while simultaneously charging the Steam Deck. All you would need is one of those USB-C to HDMI and USB-C power delivery port cables. What you would do is you would just plug that into the Steam Deck, plug the HDMI cable from the adapter into the Nreal Air adapter, and then plug the Nreal Air into the adapter, and that will give you the pass-through video, and then you can also charge your Steam Deck. So that's one option that you have. Additionally, if you are on iPhone and you want to use these for whatever reason, mainly I'd say for watching videos, what you can do is you can get the Nreal Air adapter. You would just plug the USB-C cable from this into the Nreal Air adapter's USB-C cable, and then you would take your iPhone Apple certified Lightning to HDMI and Lightning cable, and that the Nreal Air people have made to perfectly fit around that adapter. So you would just plug that in, and that would give you your pass-through video. Those are a couple of updates on availability of this and some options that you have as far as charging while using for devices that only have one port. So I hope you guys found this to be helpful. As always, I appreciate any comments that you leave below. I do read everything and I respond to most things pretty quickly, so feel free to start a discussion down there. And please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.